Hey everybody, Dan Deigan here, author of The 4 Pillars of Transportation and creator of HPLS, the High Performance Logistics System that really helps every salesperson get into that top 2% of sales. In this video, I want to talk to you about the Year Decay syndrome. Have you ever started out the year with these great intentions, these huge ambitions, these big desires to make something happen in your life, only to really kind of fall off that cliff? Maybe after February, some people in January. In January, you kind of see that a lot in the health and wellness industry. You know, if you go to the gym in the mornings, you see all of a sudden January comes and there's this huge influx of people. And, you know, I often have some friends that say, all of a sudden people are taking my treadmill, because you get that possessiveness of the equipment when you come in. And then all of a sudden by the end of January, it cleans out a bit. By mid-February, it's pretty much back to the same hardcore individuals that don't really create resolutions, they create new lifestyles, right? And in the end, when we talk about these resolutions and all this kind of stuff, it's really altering your lifestyle and it's shifting the way you do things. It's not a one-time thing, it's not a momentary thing, it's a continual event, if you will. And if you really don't take that as gold, meaning you don't take the shift in your lifestyle, you never really achieve that greatness that you want to achieve. I created a course called The 4 Pillars of Personal Greatness just because of that. Because really our desire in life is to achieve our own individual greatness, right? Now, in this video, when we're talking about the New Year's Decay, I'm going to give you 3 pretty simple ideas, and then we're going to talk about 2 individual aspects of each of those ideas. So what I'd like you to do right now is bust out your journal and start taking some notes, because I think this is really going to spawn some of that creative thinking for you, right? And especially if you've ever started out the year real strong with something, and then kind of your motivation tindered off and it tipped off the edge of the cliff or dwindled, or that desire to continually strive dwindled. I'm going to talk to you about 3 of the areas that you've probably not failed in, but had a lack of thinking it through, if you will. Okay, we've all been there. I mean, I've been there. I've had things where I've set out for these huge goals, and come mid-year, something's happened. I've allowed somebody to mess with my day, and then all of a sudden, my day shot, which turned into my week shot, which turned into my month shot, which turned into my quarter shot for what I really wanted to do and the desires that I strove to accomplish at the beginning of the year. So the first one is be real. What do I mean by be real? Well, there's a couple of aspects to this. The first is authenticity, right? So be authentic about what you're able to do, your credentials, kind of your education, your abilities, okay? So, authentic. Right now, if you're sitting there at the end of 2018 and you've done 300,000 in sales, and then you come into the new year and you say, I want to do $1.5 million in sales, right? So you're $1.2 million above where you wanted to be. Let's break that down, right? So if you're doing $300,000 in sales and you want to do $1.5 million, you got to triple that number, if you will, quadruple it, okay? So what you got to do is you break that out in every quarter. So not only do you have to maintain, you have to up every quarter by $350,000, okay? Now, is that realistic in Q1, for example, right? Because if you're not authentic and real about your education, your skill level, right? What your kind of schedule is, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But if you're not authentic about a lot of these areas, and so these 2 areas that we're going to talk about, then what happens is you fall off even quicker, because you get to the end of Q1, you realize you're so far behind on your goal, it's not achievable. Instead of sitting there and saying, okay, let's be authentic, let's be real. I'm going to strive for the $1.5 million, but my goal is going to be 500,000 to 600,000 because I'm year 2 in the business. If I double my business, that's a great deal in the second year, right? Now, the second part of being authentic is understanding a big key area. Why? Why do you want this goal? See, your why to accomplish something is really the starting factor of motivation. And if motivation stems from choice, so you're going out into the world and you're saying, okay, I choose to do this. I choose to create this goal. If you don't add a why, meaning why do you want that goal? What benefit is it going to give you? What internal kind of intrinsic value? You know, we can talk about extrinsic value, which is, you know, money and financial freedom and the ability to maybe go out on the road more and all this kind of stuff. But really what I want to focus on in this video is intrinsic value. What does it bring you inside? What joy, what benefit, what energy does this goal really drive inside of you? Because once you find that energy inside of you, that changes everything. Because that energy inside of you is going to be that driving factor. On days when you feel, you know, dull, or days when things start taking over and, you know, you're not in command of your day, you think about that why. Why did you come here? Who needs you on your A game today? These types of things. So when you're writing out your why, I want you to think about who needs you on your A game. Why do you really want to do this? And be real. Be real about why you want to accomplish what it is you're setting out for. Okay? What are the benefits it's going to bring you, right? And really start formulating that picture of it. You know, and you've probably heard so many professional and personal growth experts talk about, you know, develop that picture. But that picture is really critical, because once you have that picture of what it's going to be like when you achieve that goal is so much more attainable. Because now any roadblock you hit, you think about what it's going to be like to achieve it, and all of a sudden that roadblock becomes an anthill. Does that make sense? Okay. Once you have this down and you're real about what you want, why you want to achieve it, how you're going to achieve it, the next big thing, and this is really where so many people fall short, is calendaring it out. Okay? So when I say calendaring it, I mean create a schedule for what you want to do. So for example, if you're going to 4 times your business this year, okay? And originally last year you spent, say, 4 hours a day selling. How many hours a day do you need to spend selling to really ramp your business up? Not only how many hours a day do you need to spend selling, start thinking about how much more strategic you need to get to ramp that up. What do you need to do? How do you need to create? What kind of framework? What kind of a curriculum do you need to put together? What kind of education do you need? Right? So calendar that education out. So if you need to understand human psychology more, what kind of classes or what kind of books are you reading to really start honing in and developing that human psychology end of you? If you need to understand negotiation skills better, what are you doing to calendar out that negotiation skills? Because I'll tell you right now, if you're selling $300,000 and you think to just go to 8 hours a day of selling is going to cut it, it's not going to cut it. And why is that? Right? Why is the big reason that you can't do 8 hours a day? Well, for starters, you have other things to do, right? So if you can schedule a good 6 hours a day of sales work, meaning you close your door or you shut the whole world out and you just pound the phones or go to the meetings, meet the people, sit down, do that, but you do it in a more strategic level, you can actually get 13 to 15 hours worth of work out of a 6 hour day, easily. You can compound your time and compound your sales by doing it strategically. Does that make sense? So your idea is not to go to 8 hours a day. Maybe you want to go to 5 hours, but those 5 hours, you're going to be a million times more strategic. You're going to be very specific, and you're really going to understand, okay, this is what I need to do here. This is what I need to do here. This is the position I'm in with this prospect. This is what I want to accomplish. And you're going to be very, very, very specific about what you want to accomplish with that customer, okay? Also, when we talk about calendaring out, I would like you to really sit down and over the next 3 months, schedule your sales time where nobody bugs you no matter what's happening in the world. You have this sales time. Because if you go out arbitrarily saying, I'm going to do 5 hours a day of sales, I guarantee you, come day 2, you're going to do 2 hours of sales. Then come day 3, something's going to happen. You're going to get in an argument with your boss, or your manager, or a team member, or a customer, or a supplier. And then all of a sudden you're going, yeah, this is crap, but forget it. I'm done for the day. Right? So start scheduling this out. So for example, I created a Monday, Wednesday, Friday is my sales days. Right? So 3 days 3 days a week I do sales, okay? And then what happens is Tuesday, Thursday, I'm either on the road or I deal with specific, invoicing challenges or specific projects that need to happen, bid packages that need to happen. And I schedule out specific times. And I'm blessed that I have an office, so I close my door and my team understands, don't talk to me. Unless the world's falling apart, don't talk to me because I need to get this work done. So what I also do when I schedule out my 3 days a week of sales, I schedule 2-hour blocks. And I do 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours midday, 2 hours in the afternoon. And the reason I do that is I did a poll and I found a couple of different, and we'll talk about this in another blog, but I found a couple of different times that were really worked well for a lot of prospects and customers. I polled over about 150 prospects and customers and analyzed all the data and found out specific times and areas that really they were more likely to have a conversation with people. And I started slotting in my sales on those particular times. See, so when I calendar out my day is truly scheduled. And yes, there's going to be things that come in, but you also need to learn when it comes to this calendaring out, that when you calendar it out, you're calendaring it out for your future. So if you have a colleague come into your office and say, hey, I need this, you can't allow other people's lack of priority and other people's emergencies take over your day. Okay? So there's a lot of discipline that goes along with this shifting your sales formula, okay? Just understand that. And then the last one I want to talk about is motivation. Because the fact remains, we all get demotivated. There's not a single person on the planet, I don't care how much of a motivated person they are, where they don't wake up and go, I don't want to be up right now. I want to sleep in. I don't feel like selling. Everyone does it. So if you do it, you're not alone. The top producers in the world have days where they don't want to do anything. That's the reality of it. What I want you to look at is 2 specific areas when we're talking about motivation. I want you to first, whenever you feel like you're unmotivated or really don't want to do anything, I want you to revisit something. Revisit your why. That's why a why is so important. You see, a why really takes that motivation and it launches it vertical. Okay? It goes vertical instantly. Because if you wake up and I really don't want to, and you bust out your journal where you wrote down all your whys and your dreams, your desires, but why you want to do it, what's it going to be like for your family, what's it going to be like for your better half, what's it going to be like for your lover, what's it going to be like for your parents, say your goal was to buy them a house or help them out financially. Like all of these things add up to create energy inside of us, right? Like a good mentor of mine says the power plant doesn't have energy, it generates energy. Well, we generate energy as well. And a lot of our energy comes from our why. Why are we doing this? You might have a financial why. That's great. Financial whys drive a lot of people. I'm going to suggest you really try and get a personal why as well as a financial why. But we can talk about that on another blog as well. So why are you doing this? Who needs you on your A game? Right? That motivation really starts to spawn that increased momentum, right? And then the other part of motivation that I want to talk to you about is choice. Now, motivation comes from choice. And the big thing about motivation is a lot of people lose motivation, but they don't lose motivation because they're marching towards their dreams and desires. They actually lose motivation because they got lazy. So if you are unmotivated, my first suggestion to you is look at your why. My second suggestion is to make a choice to take a couple of steps forward. Make a choice to make 2 more sales calls. Make a choice to make 1 more call before the end of the day. Make a choice to really progress that day. Because what's going to happen is as you gain that momentum, right, as you drive that day and you're in command of your day and you drive it, it's actually going to raise your bar of motivation. It's a funny thing because, in the end, motivation comes down to keep moving forward. But the alternative is stopping and not doing anything. Therefore, I'm unmotivated. But if all you did was keep moving forward, your motivation would kick in more and more and more and more. Because you see, if you set up a sales call process where you say to yourself, I'm going to learn on every call, and you set up your questions in a way where you educate yourself or you educate on what clients want, no call is a failure. You see, when we as salespeople set out where we feel like that person didn't want to use me, that person didn't want to use it, person didn't want me, and all of a sudden that failure syndrome kind of kicks in, that's when our motivation lacks. But if we shift that mentality about motivation and shift that choice pattern, then what happens is we go in and we go into every call saying, okay, I'm going to learn. And if they don't want to deal with me, that's fine. It's their loss. Because as a salesperson, you should be qualifying the customer just as much as the customer is qualifying you. That's just the reality of it. Why would you want to go to work every day and deal with people you don't enjoy dealing with? It makes no sense. That's going to drive your motivation way down. That's not part of your why you're doing it. I'm sure when you busted out your journal 15 minutes ago or whatever, however long we've been on this, and you say to yourself, yeah, I'm dying to go to work to deal with people that I have no interest in dealing with. No, who wants that, right? So when you're looking at all of these three aspects, just understand, be real with yourself. Anything and everything you're going to do, calendar it out. And I'm talking go all the way to Q4. If your goal is Q4, then you work it backwards. And by the end of Q1, go back over what you're doing and find out where you are. We have a great product coming out very soon. It's called the High Performance Sales Planner. And this planner is not only a full-on goals program, but it's a Q1, Q2, Q3, where do you have to be, midpoint check-ins. I mean, it's golden. We're coming out with that in a couple of months. By the end of Q1 2019, we'll have that on the market for you. So just make sure you sign up to my newsletter, sign up to become a member of this area, and you know what? We're going to have a lot more conversations, and you're going to find out a lot more really cool things that really can drive your sales to the next level. And then understand that motivation is key. Because if you're not motivated, you won't do anything. If what you want to accomplish is not a priority, it's not going to happen. If it's not written down and not scheduled out, not calendared out, it's never ever gonna happen. I guarantee it. Just as sure as it's gonna get dark tonight, you will not accomplish what you want to accomplish. So in the end, make this year different. Make this year a year you're never gonna forget. If you were to make this year the best year of your life, what would you need? Be real with it, calendar it out, let's start talking motivation. Until next time, my friends, go out there and make every day the best day you possibly can. Take care.